Hi everyone, Zon245 here, and this time I'm going to have a look at the RSI Constellation. Possibly seen it parked in the front of my hangar here in some of my other videos, and now's a chance to actually have a look around it. I've got the see the lift fans under the Mark III logos there, front ones. It's got some at the back as well, and some on the lower engine pylons, so it doesn't look like they'll really have enough thrust to lift the thing, but I don't know, future tech is future tech, so we'll certainly see. It's the lower turret under here. Let's go inside and have a look. It's nice and roomy for a four-man ship, and if I'm quite honest, I think four is possibly too few to really fully run this thing. I mean, you've got obviously the pilot, you've got two gunners, there's a second pilot for the snub fighter in the little hangar at the back, but you know, if I'm flying one of these things, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to manage flying it, firing my lasers, and the huge quantity of missiles this thing also has. So, you know, perhaps one of these other seats could perhaps be used for a weapons officer, maybe some sort of command officer as well, if you're part of a small group. But that remains to be seen. Certainly 4 crew for the moment is what's stated on the specs page, which is of course, as you probably know, subject to change. So a nice external view of the Constellation here. So press the, if I remember correctly, the F1 key so that you get the slightly offset external view, and then if you hold down K you can move your mouse around and get some nice views of the ship. See there, one of the guns on the engine nacelles, those are one of the gimbaled class 2 hard points, so forward firing, but can turn to a degree to match whatever you happen to be looking at whilst flying your ship around. You've also got what appears to be some sort of manoeuvring thruster modules attached to those nacelles as well, which makes sense really. It's a pretty good place to have those manoeuvring thrusters. Let's go and have a look at inside the rest of the ship once we get our view sorted out. Third person cam doesn't work too well on the inside because of all the bulkheads and everything that you have to get your camera through. Right. Yes. You can see as it doesn't highlight what you're about to use, which might be something to consider adding. Yeah, I hadn't quite mashed that button that got back in the captain's chair. Let's go and have a look in the turrets. There's a chair for each turret, and this is the lower one, which partially it's going to be down to lighting, not being able to see a huge amount, but also when you see the top one you'll notice that you know, the field of view, just you can look at what you're shooting at, but not a whole lot else. I think the gun assemblies either side of you are blocking the majority of your view, which you'll notice when we go up to the top turret. Things are a little different up there. Everything's a bit more visible. So let's hop in and up we go. Obviously when the covers are over there's not much visibility, but as soon as they're over the turret pops up and we have this wonderful field of view which allows us to spot as well as shoot at our targets. These turrets spin all the way around and have a reasonable degree of up and down elevation, which gives the ship an overall rather comprehensive field of fire. very little in the way of blind spots. You know, you're looking pretty much straight up and below the craft and immediately behind it, or behind the engine cells relative to the gun turrets. But considering the main engines are on those rotating pylons, then manoeuvrability ought to be pretty good on this, and mean that there's not so much of an issue. Nothing will be in a blind spot for very long. We have our little eating area with chairs and everything. Got our side airlocks here with the extending docking rings, so they can extend out and attach to hopefully your friends. If they're not your friends, you're in trouble. Got the snub fighter in the little hangar at the bottom here, which appears to have lost its textures, so it's not grey, it's more blue, but no doubt get back to that. Here are the 4 hypersleep beds, so this is if you're going to save the game out in deep space and log off for that time, then pick a bunk, hop in, and snooze away. We have the little washroom area at the back of the ship here, a little shower zone. You can give yourself a nice space scrub. But, might want to close the door first. There we go. And of course, space toilet. Hooray for artificial gravity. Otherwise that could be a little awkward. Right, let's head back into the main body of the ship and go for another look outside. See if we can climb up the side of it. It's getting better at it, I promise. Tried it a few times. This being one of my less successful attempts at gotta like sprint and kind of aim at that corner, and when you get it just right, it goes a lot better than it's going there. Right, come on, one more time. There we go. So this is that manoeuvring thruster I was saying about earlier. It's going to be one of the several manoeuvring thrusters. I can't remember exactly. I think it's something along the lines of 8 TR3s. I'll probably be corrected on that. Got these swing wings that pop out the side here, which I'll try and get a better look at, with several missiles in them. And if you think that's a lot, then you should probably check out Anything FPS's video where he shows the pods on top of it deploying with probably about double the amount of missiles in both of these racks put together on each side of the ship. Now to get on top of it, somewhere in here you kind of wobble about. Sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. There we go, that's looking good, and on top we are. You see the top of the ship here, we can see the guns on the top mounts on their gimbals, so as I was mentioning earlier, they will track to a degree what you're shooting at, or what you're looking at. Seeing the tracks here for the top engines, they kind of close together for kind of cruise mode. Presumably those panels actually, you know, lock together or something, some sort of magnetic clamp. You've got the top docking mount here. The bottom one is more of a kind of entry exit whilst grounded. I don't think that can be used so much as an airlock. So you can kind of be looking at having 3 things docked to Constellation at any one time. Here's one of those panels which, as I say, I don't have the know-how, but Anything FPS, he's got some stuff in his videos. I'll put a link in the description. he shows that opening up with a rather large number of missiles, to say the least, tucked away in those little pods. But there we go. Hope you've enjoyed. I'll see you next time.